Thank God it's Friday, except when the joy is more. Like today, where we say Friday. This is Enterprise Friday on Enterprise TV, and I'm Choma Okoye.
And I am Henry Igwebike.
Great then, we head straight to look at what's on offer on the front pages of the national dailies and invite you to join us at what we do here at Enterprise TV 7. You can visit us across all social media and visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Okay, first off, we'll get into the national dailies and we started with a big story here. The big story we have on our desk is President Tinubu chefs plan to attend 79th UNGA in US, that's the UNGA. And the big story here, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has chefed plans to attend the 79th United Nations General Assembly in the New York, United States. But before we move on, let's welcome our guest in the house. We have with us here in the studio, Mr. Mika Madnago, who is a public affairs commentator and a journalist. Good morning.
Yeah, hello, viewers.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. And we have Cyril Amako, a public affairs commentator and a journalist. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of the show today.
Okay, Henry?
Yes. All right, so what do we have for today?
Okay, today, the big story here, and we'll be starting with the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has shelved plans to attend the 79th United Nations General Assembly in New York, United States. And the president, according to a statement by Bayo Onanuga, special advisor to the president, information and strategy, has directed the Vice President Kashim Shettima to lead Nigeria's delegation. And the president was billed to lead Nigeria's delegate to the assembly after his trip to China and the United Kingdom. He had told the people of Borno during his visits to the states to commiserate with them on the devastating flood in the states that he had to spare the time to visit, though he was on his way to the US for Yunga. Now, Emeka Madnago, you are a journalist, and I know you've got a lot of information on how some of the affairs of the country is meant to be run and who is supposed to be at the forefront. Now, why do you think the president, at this point in time, when he's supposed to lead Nigeria and go for the meeting at the US, decided to step down and tell Kashim Shettima to go?
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Well, there is the talk in town that President Bola Tinubu had made at times, 3 times, to meet with United States President Joe Biden, but he was rebuffed, and of course, certain actions by the Tinubu administration are beginning to, irritate the US, like the prolonged detention, of the Binance executive, one of the Binance executives, who were arrested by the government, so a US lawmaker has warned that would cause serious friction between Nigeria and the United States. So I think Tinubu just, tactically did, beat a retreat because unless a president is ill, physically, ill, the United Nations General Assembly is a place that every leader looks forward to because, there will be, if you attend such international meetings, there will be, the main session, then there will be, breakout sessions, some closed-door meetings here and there. There will be closed-door meetings from my experience of covering international summits like that. So there will be such, and of course, from what I hear, he had made efforts, but, he was rebuffed. So,
is it a shame that it's drawing him back?
No, not just the shame. The fact that, of course, you go to the UN General Assembly, you might find out that Biden will likely meet with the Kenyan president, likely meet with maybe the Egyptian president and some other leaders from Africa without meeting with the Nigerian president. That would be a big, that would be a very bad one for Tinubu. And then again, of course, looking at the situation in the country, the hunger, human rights abuses and all of that, the despotic leadership we have. You know, you see how the leaders are behaving, you know, like drunken sailors, you know, while people cannot get the basic necessities of life. So all of these things are, you know, are being observed by the world. And of course, the global media will focus their attention on hunger. And definitely, he knows that Nigerians over there are waiting for him to embarrass him with protests, you know. So a lot of all those things, you know, have made him definitely, from my analysis, not from a radio station, to just stay off. You know, Kashim Shettima can always hide himself, and nobody cares about him. He's not relevant to them. It's Tinubu, they're relevant, you know, they're relevant to them. Then the other thing I like to drop is that there are still whispers about his health, about Tinubu's health, that, you know, possibly after the long strain, you know, in China, that, you know, where he disappeared for some days, you know, and then suddenly appeared, you know, made a cameo appearance at Buckingham Palace to meet with King Charles III, you know, and thereafter disappeared again before suddenly, you know, reappearing in Abuja, you know. So that may have put a strain on his health. So, and he doesn't want, he may not want a global spectacle. He may not want global attention on himself. So that's why he just quietly left. But honestly, it's a huge letdown. Okay. It's a huge letdown.
Thank you, Mr. Madnago.
All right, Cyril Abaku, let's look at this. I have two questions for you, actually. Number one, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said that he's shelving the hunger meeting because of he needed to take care of domestic issues. Particularly, he mentioned the flood. He wasn't even talking about the ease of doing business. He wasn't even talking about energy security. He wasn't even talking about the economy. He just said for the flood. You know, so do you think that shelving the hunger meeting just to attend to flood is good enough? Then secondly, let's take our minds back, you know, prior to the elections. In 1993, July 26th, particularly, of course, we know the misconduct, okay, that came with the elections and all, especially as regards to the signed copies of the U.S. court documents that showed the bank accounts in Tinubu's name, which were linked with drug trafficking and money laundering. Now, do you think all of this, if added together, could be major reasons why the president deliberately shelved visiting the United States?
No. Far from it. I would like to think that, so since you took us back to 1993, let's go there. There has been a court case in which Nigeria sort of has reasonably given the president a clean bill of health. Our courts, you know, there was this whole certificate scandal and everything. So if it is about, again, he's president of Nigeria, so there's what they call immunity. You can't arrest another country's sovereign. He's been at hunger before after he was elected.
Yeah, he was there once.
Yeah, that's not the problem. This is not the kind of government that you expect moral example from. They don't follow it. So if you're thinking about for the morality of it, Tinubu is not in that league. They will stretch everything to the legal limits. If and even where the limits are not allowing them to stretch, they will break it and pass. So they are not. It's not that. What I just feel is that they've given us reason. The president won't be at hunger. 79. They've said domestic issues, but hunger is just about 4 days or so. And I honestly don't see what the president hasn't done in the past 1 year and some months. That he wants to use 4 days to magically turn around. I'm not aware of anything like that. He's been to Borno. His wife gave him 500 million naira or so. He has been to Borno. He has gone there. And the president wouldn't personally do anything. He would only give orders to those who ought to be doing what they should be doing. And even if he was in New York, via Zoom, he can give orders by virtual means. It's not a, so he's not going to New York. Maybe there are reasons they're not letting us know.
And what do you think that could be?
Well, what can I say? I've had that theory that the president may have lost out of favor with the. You see, Mr. President losing out of favor with Americans. Let me put it in context. In my opinion, our president is a very dear friend of America.
A dear friend of
Oh,
America.
I can say it and defend President Tinubu. In fact, he's America's baby.
Why did you say that?
No, the evidence is the evidence abounds. His educational and career trajectory makes him an American in a manner like he schooled in America. He began his work life in America. You know what I mean? More so he has a very strong American orientation. Then during the elections, America did everything they could to back him. As soon as the elections had been declared, the White House supported him, supported the outcome. It was a Republican senator that shouted and said, "You guys haven't even gone to look at what people are saying in Nigeria. Why would you just..." Then America quickly back. But later on, they still supported it.
Joe Biden actually didn't come out formally to congratulate him.
Anthony Blinken. But don't forget, Saddam Hussein was propped up by America. America destroyed Saddam Hussein. Osama bin Laden was propped up by America. America destroyed him. So I don't think you should stretch, his background in America, because the US deals with like what you might call per second perception.
I understand what you mean. And I think that we heading the same place. That by background, this man is America's baby. When the coup happened in Niger, was it Niger? When all of us said, I supported an action to take that to reverse the coup.
Okay.
Yes.
To invade Niger.
You see, as soon as it happened, the American vice president spoke to Tinubu on the phone. There was this strong solidarity. But where this dissonance may be coming from, which America is pointing to now, will be look at now, you're shooting at protesters. You know what I mean? Your human rights record isn't being played.
And you didn't invade Niger.
And you didn't invade
they wanted him to actually invade Niger. But he backed out.
Yeah, the vice president spent time talking because he was their only link in the region.
In support of France, that is. Not necessarily because America
was interested. The US had a drone base. But like some days ago, they just pulled down all their troops.
Nigeria was the last hope of a foothold within this bloc. And they expected so much from him. But
he disappointed them.
Yeah, but so that is where, so if there's been a turn in the tide, it won't be because America and Tinubu are not on the same page. Maybe they are now beginning to move to shift ground. Otherwise, traditionally, he was America's baby. You see, I'm going now. But maybe now things are beginning to change.
America's baby superficially.
No, not officially. He was theirs. If you look at the way the Chicago certificate issue went,
and then for feature $460,000.
No, you see, if they were not going to be supportive of President Tinubu, do you know that even the media campaign in Nigeria wasn't very strong? It was Atiku that kept the matter in the. America is known to be a very strong user of media. Our media space wasn't particularly flooded with the whole. It was Atiku that kept that and. The fact is that he didn't look like a man that people were coalescing to bring down. He had Kamala Harris was on the phone to Tinubu for a long. She assured him that what was going on, because you see, the fact is that the reason I wanted action in Niger was very easy. If you look at an analysis of West Africa, all the landlocked countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, they were all falling. They were all falling. To Russia, to coups and to Russia, and Nigeria was the next. Now, sincerely speaking, anybody saying a coup in Nigeria is insulting you as Nigeria. You know what I mean? Because if a neighbor's roof is on fire, what do you do?
So, which is very similar
but if you look at it just quickly, that Niger thing really hurt America. Seriously,
no,
really hurt America.
Them, okay,
and so I had on good authority that since then they've shut the door on Tinubu. So definitely going to the UN General Assembly.
So, but now
you just need to go and read the speech.
But now where we are again, some days ago, the three generals met in Mina. IBB was there. Obasanjo was. It was an IBB South, I think. Obasanjo was in, and then Ali Igusa and the rest of them. And when men like this meet, we must know what the purpose of the meeting was. Like they go say, if a frog was not running in the day for nothing, is either something is pursuing it or is pursuing something. I'm not surprised that the president is beating a retreat. That is deciding to stay back to look at what in my language, as they say, to check whether the legs under the table are equal, are complete rather. This is more than just flooding. I think that there is a need for him to look at his structure again and see whether things are secure and things are where they ought to be. This is more like a desperate move to keep things in shape. I hope that it won't just be about not attending hunger. The real thing to do today is Nigerians will commend him if, after he stays back from going for hunger, the price of petrol crashes. You saw yesterday, there was a story making the rounds that three major powerful marketers were deciding.
But Dangote said they are going to bring in dirty petrol.
I'm coming. Yeah, but can the president claim this a giant stable? Because he's president, commander-in-chief, and minister of petroleum. How does the president sit idly by? I use those words advisedly. And then our major, there's insecurity, there's energy insecurity, there's food, all these insecurities you can think of have come to stay.
Well, because there's this voice, of course, around town that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is becoming more and more unaccessible. In fact, that it was even easy to access Sani Abacha than it is to access Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
We won't be surprised. And this is not, so it's not about inaccessibility, this is about isolation.
Deliberate isolation.
Well, yeah, because you see, now, for those who have seen statecraft and powercraft firsthand will tell you this. They'll tell you that before a president can even take his pen to sign any policy or anything, the pressure that comes upon him is usually big. This is the reason when you become a governor, president, or even a council chairman, you must make sure to have only the very best of the very best advisors. Because they are the ones who make contact with civil society, with the NGOs, with the technocrats, with people even outside of government. When people bring proposals for government to look at and implement, they can vet, go and bring to the president only what is worth his attention. But in a case where you have officials who are corrupt, who don't know their onions, who are just there as jobbers and speculators, what do you expect? Now, so there will be the need to tighten control of who gets access to the president. But in the end, when you tighten the control, who are the forming the what do you call it now? The defense. Who are they? Who are those who are blocking access to the president? When only very few aides, maybe 2 or 3 of them, have hijacked a governor or hijacked a president, their word becomes law. What they say is what stands. So it becomes the wisdom of a few. Instead of that interactive, collaborative, collegial sensing, because to lead a multi-ethnic nation like Nigeria is not an easy thing.
Is it really that difficult, Emeka? Because I actually wanted to ask, must it be this difficult?
If a president is willing to commit himself to the nation's interest above his interest, he will do well. That is the guiding principle in China. He was in China. For anybody to get into the Chinese civil service, it's an honor. It's a badge of honor. Not to talk of getting into a political office and then up as high as Chinese premier. So these things are rigorously checked. But a situation where you keep having allusions to the president's, alleged connection to certain parts of the economy, and then you wonder, what exactly is the goal of this administration? Because what it appears right now is that this administration cannot think of anything other than borrowing. There is no play. There is nothing else in their book other than borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. And you see, I'm a businessman. Borrowing should be the last resort. What you do, first of all, you cut your cost of governance. Not just when they talk of cost of governance, it's not just about how many vehicles, the presidential fleet, convoy, or how many aircraft. It's also about the cost of running the country, the cost of doing things, turnaround time, man hours, all of these things. When these things don't matter to you, you see, it will look as if governing just 200 million people is rocket science. But China is over 1 billion people. And you can see how China, they've taken the USA as their key competitor. And you can see how they keep doing everything to get there in terms of innovation. And the United States is not also less resting on their laurels. You can see what they're doing. Look at what one of their star boys, Elon Musk, has done. Brought out a device that can enable the blind to see. And that's a revolution. Talking about other things. So when you have your eyes set on the future, focused on the future through innovation, you know what? You will not need to strut the small stuff like what we see in Nigeria today. That's why they keep borrowing. They think borrowing is meaningless. You cut costs, you also increase your revenue drive, your drive for income. Then when you grow, if you have to borrow at all, it should just be maybe to fill a gap. When you sorted it out, income comes, when money comes in, you quickly pay off. But if borrowing becomes your habit as a business, that business will collapse.
Very true.
The problem with the presidency today, just to wrap on the matter, because you talked about the president becoming inaccessible, if that is true, is that a number of factors can be enunciated. One, if for a fact a politician has kept his soldiers, his what you call structure, alive for 25 years, let's say 26 years or 27 years, or let's even go all the way back to 1993, more than 30 years. And for those 30 years, he's been out of power for, let's say, 22 years. And he's been able to hold it down. At what cost has he held it down? I think a lot of them have seen that this is not their time to get back everything they put in. So there's a lot of informality. The president's son is helping Nigeria to secure a deal in Dubai or Qatar. What does that mean? What is the president's son's official
That Qatar business failed.
What is the president's son's official role in the government?
That Qatar.
The president's son was found in the state in the council chamber. What was he doing there? So when you create this sort of informality, you see, look, there's a great danger with this level of who knows who getting into what, who gets what. So the president's isolationism may not even be on the fact that protocol has made it so. It may be that interest has just made it so. But let's even look at it at the end should justify the means. What are we getting out of all of this?
Nothing.
Nigeria is left with nothing. Under President Buhari, we said that the Southeast was being shot at and that something was wrong about that. There's been a bomb blast or there's been a problem. Security Council is meeting. One time then I was editing in a particular media house and they came and said Buhari his meeting was meeting with the Security Council and Tinubu and Shibaji was in attendance. I think I almost said they should move with Shibaji's name and just say Buhari because Buhari is president. What is Shibaji's name doing in the headline? Is it not because he's trying to cover something up? The whole Security Council is made up of Northerners. Why do you play up Shibaji's name in the headline? You need people from other parts of Nigeria. So to have a good feel, why do we have the penal code and the criminal code? Why? So you see, when you are leading a country like Nigeria, there is a level at which there must be that collegial. What do you think? What do you say?
Exactly.
Yes, it must be there. When the president has lost touch with the reality of what is going on, you get what I'm saying? There was a president who, when a particular country pulled out their embassy in Abuja, he didn't know. It was a private visitor to the house that told him, Mr. President. So countries even pulled. He said he was not even aware. The man came out and told Nigeria that the president didn't know. I was one that told him that. This is the danger of having the wrong men around you. And when they feel that they're not protecting, they're cutting you off, they will. This is not the way a country should be run.
Thank you.
Very, very true. You know, someone said that God is a Nigerian. You know, and anyone that tries to mess with Nigeria might definitely, you know, be at the brunt. But let's see how that goes.
God is not
That's metaphorically, actually, you know, metaphorically.
Let's move into the next story. And the next daily on our decks is the Guardian newspaper. The big story here. Okay, moving on. Outrageous EFCC's Bello arrest saga mocks 80.2 billion naira fraud charge. Details are on page 6.
All right, and the big story here on the Guardian newspaper, Edo declared 2024 people, politics, power, and their godfather on war part. And we have a cartoon here a sprint between Ihodalo, the PDP, the APC, and of course the Labour. Abata seems to be winning here. Yeah, it seems to be winning, but of course it's been held back by the APC guy. I don't know why he should be the APC guy. Why INEC chair is right behind him.
Okay, moving on. Still on the top strip of the Guardian newspaper, NNPCL marketers returned to PMS import over shortfall from Dangote.
All right, and anxiety over Edo polls as police vow to descend on trouble.
Okay, and PDP crisis, more cracks in governor's rank as BOT meets NAS caucus. Details are on page 10.
All right, so particularly let's take a look at NNPC and the Nigerian marketers. Of course, we have NNPCL marketers return to PMS import over shortfall from Dangote. Emeka, what is happening here? What do you think is happening?
They're just
here?
playing on our intelligence.
Who is playing on our intelligence here? Or is it Dangote that's playing on our intelligence?
And Dangote. And I think Dangote is also playing a very dangerous game, which might affect his businesses as a whole. Nigerians are angry enough about the fuel price. Now, like the OPEC Secretary General said, in an article he just published, he said the reason why you have high fuel price in Nigeria and other oil producing countries is because we take our crude to other countries. And then it's those countries that refine our crude that actually make more money than we do. So he said that has to change. That the oil producing countries must go beyond just producing oil, the extractive, nature of the business, and actually, convert this crude into products that can serve their economies. And he said again, why are they six? Because of government taxes. You look at the number of taxes that people have to pay. You just wonder, how can any company even break even with all these taxes? There are too many. And some are even repetitive, per liter. So nobody is talking about the fact that a barrel of crude contains 159 liters. And then out of that 159 liters, you can get up to 40 products. Up to 40 different products. Now, do I tell you that Chevron has a gas to liquid facility in Escravos? And it's like a refinery. Chevron converts gas into clean diesel and base oils, which are 100% for exports. It's happening in Nigeria. Well, what are we doing? We're just taking everything and shipping out. Now, Dangote that people thought would come in as a game changer has been caught in the web of, necessary propaganda, going this way, to price and all of this thing. The key question is this, Dangote, what is your petrol price? Up till now, Dangote has not answered it. NNPC offered explanation, said 898 is what Dangote wants to say. But Dangote said, no, it's not the price. We're saying in dollars. You see, Dangote should just know that Nigerians at this time are angry enough to definitely boycott his products. Whether it's petrol, whether it's cement, whether it's sugar. It might get to that point.
If they boycott it, what would they follow into? Aside from the private market are saying they want to import. Now, when they say, okay, they want to boycott Dangote cement, how they can't? That's
why?
Because there's nothing to fall back.
You have Bua, you have Lafarge, but you have other cement. And if government decides to undercut him, like the Minister of Work said one time, they will open the borders and import cement. Yes. What about sugar and all of those things? After all, government has said that it will remove duty, import duty, on food items. So if government removes import duty, what is it about that anybody is producing that cannot be bought? What's the big deal? So, but what I'm talking about is this. Already people view Dangote as a monopolist. And that is not helping his image in this petrol thing. People are willing to cut him some slack and say, okay, let's hope he will come in as a game changer. But what he's now saying is that, okay, until October 1. So how come that NNPC's product is 855? And then Dangote came out. Even in Lagos, just see the port there. Just see where Dangote is, right inside Lagos. Even the people of Lagos cannot enjoy the benefit of hosting Dangote refinery. Then you now tell me all the way to Meduguri, 1,019. It's not true. In Delta State right now, fuel is 1,300 naira per liter. In Ondo State, Edo State, fuel is about 1,070 naira per liter. So when you look at it that way, now that's why they said angry marketers. They are going to bring in the next thing ahead of the Dangote people said is dirty fuel. Look, at this stage, Nigerians don't care whether it's dirty fuel, whether it is whatever fuel by the right now. People need petrol at the cheapest price possible. And if Dangote doesn't backtrack from this, his mainstream media war, he will be the loser.
Thank you, Mr. Magna. Sulabako, you've been laughing, and I also want to hear you.
Because this whole thing is artificial.
Yes.
We're not facing a normal problem.
So
they are self-inflicted. They are not. They won't lead to any enlightenment or any civilization. What's the problem? What, like Bryce Fellow said, he will say that there's witchcraft in what is going on. One is inclined to not believe it that way, because if there wasn't going to be a problem, I mean, you have smooth roads, brand new cars, street lighting, traffic signs, a sane driver, the possibility of accidents has been significantly reduced. But somebody comes up and bombs the road to create a shaft and all kinds of things, then overnight the lights disappear, the traffic signs are pulled off the ground. Please, what are we heading for? And the driver who is not fully qualified is not put behind the wheels and must drive only at night. I don't know what else you're going to expect. We're setting ourselves up for disaster, frankly speaking. Why does the NNPC, why they should have allowed them to sell this to Nigerians directly? I thought that's what he was initially going to do. Then as soon as they heard that he could produce, they hiked up their own price of petrol. Somebody needs to teach the NNPC a lesson. Maybe if we can do that, they will sit up and realize.
Yeah, but Dangote is till now. We know the price of AGO Dangote. We know the price of diesel Dangote. We don't know the price of petrol Dangote petrol. That is the key thing right now.
The point is,
I mean, from Dangote, I'm not talking of the prices released by NNPCL. The prices from Dangote.
But at least he has said he didn't sell to them at that amount.
Okay.
And until the investigation, I think by House of Reps also was concluded, he couldn't speak.
We don't need to wait for that. He's playing games with Nigerians.
But he could have kept quiet.
But how would he even do all of this, because we all know the tendencies here. We know those who are pulling the strings. We know those who are possibly, investors in this business. How do you think Dangote is feeling right about now, knowing that he is possibly, allegedly caged?
He's not caged.
With respect to investors and stakeholders.
Dangote is not caged. He's just the one caging himself.
Really?
Let me tell you, as a businessman, you got to weigh your options. The industry you're getting into is an industry with people who make money without putting in anything.
Our country.
There are the oil thieves, the coal fire people, who just drill, pipes into other people's, crude and steal. So they don't even go and get a license. Nothing. They're just thieves, oil thieves. That is one side of it. Those ones frustrated Tony Elumelu, chairman of UBA. They frustrated him. As he said openly, they frustrated him. They kept stealing his oil and stealing his crude and stealing his crude. Then you have those, around NNPCL. NNPCL, according to the Petroleum Industry Act, ought to have been taken to the public, sold to the stock market. Sell NNPC, sell his refineries, sell his depots. All his depots are moribund. NNPC doesn't have a single depot in Nigeria today. How can Dangote now say you're making NNPC an off-taker? Whereas it is the independent marketers, Ipman, those are the ones who have the depots. You have the depot, the depot owners. That's the differentiation. You have the independent marketers. They have the largest number of tankers and facilities, filling stations across Nigeria. How can you make NNPCL an off-taker? That is very annoying to Nigerians.
But must NNPC necessarily have all of these facilities?
They are moribund.
You did mention just for them to regulate.
How many tankers does
the market came out 2 ways. NNPC was going to buy off everything he was producing. Whereas the Dangote was going to sell everything he was producing to the NNPC. Whether NNPC is buying or he was selling, there's a buying and a selling. Because the NNPC is a stakeholder in Dangote refinery.
You're 7.2%.
Now I'm coming, yes, it should have been 20%. Now, so probably that gave them some sort of preference. So because you see, the NNPC alone could have scuttled the refinery from coming on stream.
Of course, we analyzed it, yeah.
So when you say he's been caged, maybe it is a prison cell in which there's enough conflicts and tea and beverages. So who cares, prison or not? But I mean, if you are producing and they say we're going to buy everything you're producing, I think as a businessman that looks like something. But where we are going is, for me, it's not just a Dangote issue. NNPC really should have been just another marketer, right now. But they are both regulator and marketer. That is counting for something here. In the end, everything they are doing is against the interest of Nigerians. Because only NNPC raised price of petrol. Only NNPC is behaving like an octopus on Dangote refinery. Only NNPC has made everybody to become an onlooker, including the major marketers. All of them are now sitting back to say, NNPC, oh yeah, what next? We saw when the other day, some marketers said that instead of this own shenanigan, that if that this petrol will even cost higher, they will rather go and continue importing. We saw it. We saw all of this.
But don't forget, crude price has gone down to $72 per barrel.
It's always
now, you know the thing is, when Dangote said he could export his petrol, I said even better. Export it, because actually it's in an export processing zone. You know, so the products there are supposed to be primarily for export. Export. You will see businessmen who will go wherever you're exporting it. They will buy it back and bring it in. If it's cheaper, they will buy it back and bring it in. It will even be better for Dangote to say, okay, no, I'm not selling to the Nigerian market. I'm going to export it.
But if you ask me today, the people whose wings we are to clip immediately is the NNPC.
NNPC should be sold with all its assets and everything. It should be sold to the public.
As much as we would love to say that, let's not forget the right of first refusal. You know, knowing that NNPC itself has a stake in Dangote. So if there's one single entity that should be given that right, it should be NNPC, unless if NNPC declines.
No, NNPC is a private company now.
Not Dangote. NNPC is a private company, and I'm not aware that in their contract there's a right of first refusal.
No, there's none.
What I will do, the NNPC building in Abuja, sell it to somebody who wants to open
maybe a hotel or something.
The refinery Port Harcourt, sell it to some fishermen.
Sell it to Indorama. Indorama is already using the second refinery for petrochemicals.
Just give it to you just sell everything.
Can I turn it to a Nigerian branch of the refinery in Niger. Turn it to a depot. So that they can be supplying Kaduna.
Thank you, Sir Labako. Thank you, Mr. We have to take this home because of our time, and so we can get into other issues. Thank you, Sir Labako. Thank you, Mr. for your time. Henry.
All right, when we return, it's election eve in Edo State, and the frenzy is higher now than ever. But what we are and what is it that we should expect? That in a bit, please don't go anywhere.